Tell you what, though.
What?
Hell of an effort.
That's
One
all
of the
that
greatest
matters.
efforts I've ever seen. We've lowered the bar.
I know.
You know what? Let me tell you
They're
something.
busting their tails.
Speaking of things that tick people off, my wife said to me, it was either this morning or last night, she said somebody at her office kind of said half-jokingly to her, hey, your husband's being too hard on the Cardinals. And I said to myself, they're the worst team in the National League.
Whoa!
They are. They're in last place in the National League.
I think maybe it was a cheap chokers thing.
Yeah.
That you
That's a
started.
half
You
joke.
started
That you started.
You started
But
that.
they are the worst team in the National League.
They're the worst.
Depends.
What are we supposed to do?
Depends which metrics you
Yeah.
All the
use.
standings.
Yeah.
I mean, you can look at the standings.
Depends which metrics you use.
Standings are
Rights
usually
holders have totally different metrics.
That's right.
at the end of the season. They usually
Depends
count
on
the
who you talk
standings.
to. Depends on who you talk to, Charlie. You know.
They're just really bad.
They're bad.
We don't want them to be bad.
No.
We want to talk positively.
Yes.
Coworker.
Yeah.
They're bad.
They're bad.
When they pitch, they don't hit.
Yeah.
When they hit,
Hit.
they don't pitch, and thus they lose.
Then they lose.
And then sometimes they let many fly balls drop.
Yeah.
Or on the base pass, they run into outs on weird, bizarre plays.
Is that frowned upon?
That
what the hell was going on
What's
there?
going on there? Tommy? Nate?
What happened? What? It was like a what? What?
They're going to
like
run
they
each
won the
other
game.
over.
It happened so fast. All I know is I saw rounding third, two guys pretty much right on top of each other.
Like a Little League game.
The front guy scores pretty easily, and I was like, I honestly thought, okay, they got two there. Wait, what happened? You go back. Tommy went back. I wanted to see one guy slide across home and the other guy right on his heels.
Right on his
sliding
heels.
home.
The heck?
When I saw that ball go off the wall, I go, oh, they won. I'm like, okay, 2-run score. They're going to win 4-3. And then I'm like, wait, everybody's next to each other, and they're tagging people, and they're all on the same base?
I think, I don't know what happened. I don't know what Pop did at third base. But it seemed to me, because Gorman made it pretty easily, and I know that they threw the ball around a little, but I think if Edmund, and I think Jim Edmonds called it right, I think if Tommy Edmond just kept going, he would have been saved too, and that's what I thought had happened.
Is Tommy
no.
Edmond a victim?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, there you go.
Cardinals
See.
are victims of
I know.
bad karma.
That's right.
Of their
No, this-
own bad roster.
I think people that are saying, hey, this kind of feels like the start of the season again after they gradually seem to right the ship. And I agree. This seems like they're waiting for the other shoe to drop, okay? You have a chance to win this game. Early on, they'd either have a lead, it would go away, or the other team would just house them in the first few innings. Lately, we're seeing close games that you think the Cardinals should be able to win, and they find a way to not.
And don't you now have the feeling that they're going to lose it?
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
If it's a close game, like after the base running miscue, I just go, okay, they're going to lose.
Mm-hmm. I get that.
I said they're going to lose. It's just like that's the play, and it's the dropped pop-up and little things here and there. They're just a losing team. They are a losing team. I thought when they had their little 2-day mini break, it was the perfect reset, right? You played really good for 2 weeks. Okay, bad week.
Now you're going to Pittsburgh.
You're going to Pittsburgh. You got to get right there because Texas is good. But we're going to start to see the Cardinals that we're known to seeing for the last 15, 20 years. Nope.
And in fairness, you watch the beginning of that game, and Waino's kind of getting hit around, and you know Texas is an offensive juggernaut. I mean, they've been on fire, and you're like, maybe this isn't a great matchup because Waino's topping out at, 86 miles an hour, and he gives up some runs, and next thing you know, he's having quicker innings, and all of a sudden it's the sixth.
Yeah.
And he gave up 3. I know he didn't finish the sixth, but
Not bad.
Not bad.
Yeah.
They're in a position.
Feed off that.
I honestly thought they're going to be down 5 something, and he made adjustments, and he started
pretty
putting
dang
guys
good.
up, putting guys down.
Great fireballs tonight.
Fireballs, bro. We're also lowering the bar.
Yeah,
though.
we are.
Like, we love Waino. And I know Texas, tough ballpark, really good lineup. We've also lowered the bar that we now are celebrating 5 1/3 and 3 1.
I didn't celebrate it.
I just think no. I'm saying as a team, like we know Waino is 41, but that's not even a quality start.
I understand what you're saying, but I did not do that. I'm not saying
you.
Okay, but I want to be clear. I thought crooked numbers are coming. right? I mean, you watch the beginning of the game, you're thinking crooked numbers we're going to be down big, and he righted the ship, gave him a chance to win. I'm not celebrating that as a great start. I'm not saying that by any stretch.
Which infielder's turn is to play the outfield tonight? Are they going to start putting kids in left field or right field? Spartan 44 wants to know.
The captain coming on at 9 o'clock.
I get it that you could be mad or frustrated, but they do have, 3 outfielders on the IL right now.
Yeah.
Supposedly, Carlson will be back. He's going to go on to rehab maybe today. Then he'll be back. But, I mean, they have had a bunch of injuries.
And Carlson was hitting really well before he went on the IL, so that'll be great.
It's like making a trade.
It's like making a trade.
This team.
I know.
Can you believe my wife's coworker? Can you?
How dare he?
Who is this guy?
Who is this guy?
I hope he's listening right now. He said, I'm being too hard
Oh, we're sorry about that.
on the last place Cardinals. I want the Cardinals to be good. I want to be a positive person.
This coworker.
What else is he saying?
This coworker is living rent free in your brain.
He is.
Man,
He's making me think, are we being. Wait, they're in last place.
What else is he doing?
And also, hey, Cardinals.
it's like he dunked on you.
He's kind of dunking on
He
you.
dunked
man.
on you.
Just lie.
He's saying things right now. Charlie's a
They're bad,
person.
but they're bad.
Charlie's a bad person.
I mean, am I wrong?
No one said they're bad. But why are you letting this guy in your
Why is
kitchen?
it? Yeah.
All right, you know
Different
what?
issue.
Cardinals up.
Who is this guy?
Because here's why.
What's his name?
I don't know. Here's the deal. During the
I
stretch,
bet his name is Tad.
Yeah.
probably Tad.
Cardinals
I am
up.
not
6'4".
the most mentally strong person. Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay. So during the stretch when the Cardinals won, like for 2 weeks, I do think the big picture, we were still talking about the Contreras deal and the Flaherty deal, and I can understand why if the Cardinals are now finally winning and we're still talking about, okay, terrible start, Contreras, Flaherty, I understand people are like, all right, hey, they're winning now, let's move on. But that ended, they're losing again, and the big picture is still very negative. Believe me, I want the Cardinals to be in first place and win the World Series every single year.
Mm-hmm.
Who disputes this? Except for Tad.
Well, I just
who is this
wonder
guy?
sometimes, like, how are we being critiqued for being too negative when they're in last place
One guy.
in the National
It's
League?
anecdotal.
No, because I get a couple comments here and there on YouTube, but that was more when they were winning on that 2 week stretch.
Yeah.
But still, they were bad.
I don't like this guy. I don't like this guy.
Every night I sit down and I go, I'm watching Charlie's YouTube, and something always comes up.
Yeah.
You know, there's a cat in a tree, I got to climb up
Yeah.
and be the hero.
Yeah.
Neighbor's water pump broke, I got to fix
He's
it.
got to fix that. Yep.
So I haven't. Maybe if you're more negative there, but I think your criticism of the Cardinals on this particular operation has been very fair.
Yeah.
I think we're pretty fair.
Don't listen to him.
The team ain't good,
They ain't good.
and they've lost 4 in a row.
Skill issue.
After the Pirates sweep, I should say, I actually think the Cards played well against a team that is much better than them. Cray.
Charlie, I agree.
I kind of agree with that. When I watched that series against Pittsburgh, I did not walk away saying the Cardinals are awful. I walked away saying they lost 3 close games to a team that's pretty good,
Pretty dang good.
and is a bit better than them.
I watched that and said, that's a team, you got a house. You're better than them.
They're not there.
And you didn't. I think they are. Talent-wise.
Are they?
Player for player. Yes, I know standings are what they are. I get that. I'm just saying talent, that's to me the problem, which goes back to what we've all been saying. You hit, you don't pitch, you don't hit. They still have talent. They just haven't put it together. I'm not saying they will. I hope they do. But I think talent-wise, they have the talent to beat teams like Pittsburgh, which was in shambles when the Cardinals got to Pittsburgh.
How's the hot
And they
seat?
got outplayed by them. No offense. I think talent-wise, the Cardinals have more than the Pirates.
I agree. I thought Cardinals fans should have been pissed about that series because you gave away a 5-run lead in game 1, and then your offense basically protested in games 2 and 3. So that was an incredibly frustrating weekend, and I don't think the Pirates have more talent than them.
Peaceful protest?
I was
Yes.
gonna say, I like,
Peaceful protest?
I like a good protest.
And the starting pitching,
Mostly
which had been
peaceful.
such a problem this year, was really good in that series. And it was the bullpen in game 1 and then the bats in games 2 and 3. So the one problem that you've really had this season kind of looked really good in that series, and then everything else just petered out. That was an incredibly frustrating series. And now you're playing a team that's no doubt better than the Pirates.
Good old Ranger.
Pirates are a really good defensive team. I actually watched a little bit. I watched Oviedo pitch last night. And they just made a lot of good defensive plays, especially like
Ji-Wan Bae.
Bae is really good.
That dude is a stolen base machine.
And then one other guy, I already forgot his name.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Carlos Santana at first.
They have a
Outfielder.
lineup. They have a-
Swinsky?
No, who? Oh, Connor Joe.
Connor Joe.
Good old Con, the Con
Is he
dog.
great defensively? I don't think he's known as
I
a
don't know.
defensive player. But he can hit a little
I've
bit.
seen him make some
but
diving
that's a
plays.
lineup that you should be able to pitch to, right? That's a lineup that isn't going to terrorize your pitching staff.
Yeah. At what point is there going to be some accountability for this underperforming team? 812 is not happy. Trade everyone.
That's the solution.
Trade everyone. Build this entire roster around Gorman, Wynn, Walker on the infield, Newt in the outfield, and captain behind the damn plate. You could get some fantastic prospects in return for Goldie, Arenado, Edmund, Donovan, Jackie Jack, and Monty.
I do find it comical, though it's obviously a result of frustration, which I totally understand. I'll say it again. Fans being frustrated is a good thing. It shows they care. Okay, they support this team. But do you remember all the people furious that Contreras wasn't getting, wasn't behind the plate, and that would change everything? To his credit, he handled that very well.
Yeah, he did.
Then he went into a slump, and I venture to guess some of the same people want him off the team.
Okay, I'll be the first one to admit that I like that deal. I said, hey, I wanted Sean Murphy. I said that from the get-go. But if you're not going to go and trade for Sean Murphy, Wilson Contreras was the best catcher on the market. They got him. And already a month in, they sat him and said, you're not good enough to be a catcher after 7 years. That's not good.
It's not good.
That doesn't bode well for the future. This is year one.
So I think he's a good offensive player. But if you recall, I wanted the other guy Murphy too, but I like the Contreras move, so I'm exactly with Charlie. But I never thought Contreras was like the middle of the order guy that the Cardinals had pretty much laid out that he would be. He's a good player, especially being a catcher, offensive, threat. But I thought they needed one more guy in there. Now, Gorman's sort of become that guy, but in order to avoid some of the droughts that we saw, even when they were at their pinnacle offensively, there'd be some down spots. One more meat eater in there.
How's Gorman against lefties lately?
He hits them.
Okay. Nice segue from John Fetterman to John Hadley. I can't tell where one ends and the other begins. Everybody
Ready to
stinks.
get after it.
Even the women.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Hi. Good night. Just flipped on the show. Not sure what Cardinals talk you've done already. This team is stinky poo. What's up, Sanderson?
The vast majority of people listening to this radio station are men.
Boy, this guy.
Heck, God.
This guy.
He was ahead of his time.
This is why Randy is that kind of knowledge of the basics. This is why Randy put him in charge.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
God almighty.
Guys like me who had an expiration date of 2012.
The funniest is whenever I start saying Jimmy's name afterwards.
I got
You got to find that.
I wish we found the drop because I think they played it on the other show where he said, I've accumulated the kind of wealth where I could live wherever I want to live.
The only five people who voted against.
here we go.
The only five people who voted against me were
Jimmy the Cat Hayes, Jimmy the Cat Hayes, Jimmy the Cat Hayes, Jimmy the Cat Hayes, Jimmy the Cat Hayes. That's fantastic.
Whoever put that together, who did that?
That's cool.
That was.
I did.
Cole, right?
And you went and found Cam saying Jimmy the Cat Hayes different times, which is
Yeah.
very impressive.
It is. He did work on that.
That's 5 different times, correct?
Correct.
Wow, that's
good
a lot
work.
of work.
But you know I'm going to say it at the beginning of every show.
But
But there's
still,
no music in the background for any of them.
He says that at the end of the segment.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm saying that
Found
takes like an hour to find that.
Yeah. He did
And
good
to
on
me, the fact that you did it gets huge praise.
I know.
And sort of wipes out your awful take from earlier.
Thank
You should have like a drop off between you two.
I would actually.
We
love
already
that.
do that.
Like just like give me your 3 best
And
from
Charlie
yesterday.
hates it.
Because we have drops out the
I
ass.
don't hate it, by the way. Am I crazy? I mean, I know I'm now too hard on the Cardinals.
You are.
But am I also crazy because we are the only show in the world that has 2 people simultaneously playing drops while the hosts are talking. Now listen, I don't really care that much. This show is fun. It's all good.
Yeah.
We are the only show in the world that does this. Just so everybody knows. We are the only show on Earth
In
where
the world.
2 people play drops at the same time, and there's really not communication of who's going to go when. And I love both of you.
I
And
know.
we hammer things out on the air here.
Tad just texted me and said, "Why is Charlie so mean to Seth and Cole?"
I'm appearing on his show and Close Encounters of the Seth kind.
Close encounters.
I'll help.
I'm just going to change it.
Yeah, send
Yeah,
him
the
everyone.
show with the guy with the beard, Sam.
long
Seth.
hair. Sam.
He's the helper.
I'm Sam Close.
Dr. Oz is from Philadelphia as much or as more as Hillary is from upstate New York. Speed farther from the mic, you idiot.
I don't care
Wait,
about
what,
Tom Hanks.
is that actually a text defending Dr. Oz as a good candidate?
Special K. Like, what are you talking about there? Speed farther.
Yes, Dr. Oz was a great candidate.
Yeah.
But the difference there is that Hillary's going into a state that she knows she's going to win, whereas Dr. Oz is going into a very competitive state.
Where there was already backlash from Republicans about Dr. Oz getting into it. Yeah, it was a bad choice. Sorry.
Is that the Benz owner, by the way?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
A lot of nice cars out there.
He told me he was dating a lot of 23-year-olds with Charlie.
With
too.
Charlie.
Yeah.
Yo, you guys are going on your date night this weekend.
This week.
When is it?
Saturday, I believe. Well, it was supposed to happen this past Saturday, and then 5, 6 o'clock rolls around. Nobody's texted each other all day, so I'm like, okay, I guess not this week. And then Joe Davis had a friend in town. You gotta ask Joe Davis about this. Apparently, he was hanging out with some Kansas City Chiefs players at a bar this weekend.
Oh, he's got Charlie coming
Really?
on the podcast.
This is
Is it the
I
local
guess so.
kid, the defensive tackle? What's his name?
Saunders. Is it
Jalen Saunders or Kalen?
Yeah.
No, it
Saunders.
wasn't him. It was.
There's another
Some
kid.
I think it was Joe Pence.
And apparently, Joe was like, yeah, Tua Tagovailoa was supposed to be there, but he couldn't make it. Like, I don't know. Apparently, Joe's rolling in a very fancy crowd. We got to ask him when he gets in here who he's hanging out with.
Wow.
But he had a friend in town, so he couldn't hang out this weekend. So I guess next Saturday.
Is he
or this
single, Joe?
Yeah.
He is?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, he had a girlfriend
Yeah.
from the
he's
time I started here till recent.
Yeah. If you think I'm doing a juggling act, you should hear about him
Oh, is he a wheel? Big Joe?
a little bit.
Should we be talking about this?
No,
That's all I said. That's all I
yeah,
said.
cool though. You guys are in a good spot though, man. Like you got at least three single guys that work right here at this here station. You're basically all the same age. Like that's a pretty good gig you got, man. You guys all like each other. That's cool.
I'm not trying to get in Joe's business, but if he was a hit with the ladies before, can you imagine once the ladies find out that Marlo is going to be on his show?
Oh my! We gotta pump
Look
this
out.
up.
Oh,
You know.
man.
220, guys.
Brio, here we come.
220 Friday. Be
I
there
mean-
or be square.
Yep.
Isn't that nice though? You guys all hang out. I try to get Charlie to come out, but he won't even drive out to my house.
It's like an hour away.
Won't drive out to my house.
I'm sure you.
Other
wouldn't-
people do.
I'm sure you wouldn't drive out to his house either.
Yeah, I would.
He's been to my house.
No,
Yeah, I've been to his house.
You ever been to mine?
No, you never invited me. I've been to Charlie Marlowe's house. I've been to his house. I hung out and helped him clean up a little bit. And I looked at his backyard and I looked at some trees and I snooped around a little bit and I looked through his cabinets.
Was that before the trees came down?
Yes.
Did you
I
pay
go-
him
He
to
paid-
help?
He had like an hour to kill before the podcast.
Okay.
Do you remember?
Well, good for you, Cam.
I know.
Let's examine our relationship.
Charlie, don't you want to come over?
Do you know when my wife said you're a nice guy and my kids started like at that bowling, Eggy's bowling
Yeah.
thing, and
Yeah.
we were on a team with you or next to you or whatever, and you were as nice as could be to my family.
Of course, man.
So I would invite you over.
I know. No, I know. And I would come over.
Just don't break anything.
I won't. No, I'm
You know,
not.
we
I
have
am
a lot
kind
of-
of a bowl in a china shop.
we have a lot of really expensive
know.
knickknacks.
Yeah, if I bump into things like
Bric-a-brac.
going through different hallways and stuff.
Built-in bookcase.
It's nice.